Neighbors demanding £200 in 2 weeks for an unagreed plus 2 meters high fence. Choosing beggars. 75 cents. Someone in a Discord server sent me this. If anyone knows the artist, please tell me. Neighbors demanding £200 in 2 weeks for an unagreed plus 2 meters high fence. Someone always has an input. Choosing beggar wanted free art, so I gave them free art. They were not very happy. Choosing beggar outraged by unfair deals. Why can't I get the game for free after the devs worked extremely hard to transfer it to mobile? A baby crocodile's worth over $1,000. Asking for a friend. Also not my messages, rolling on the floor laughing. Meme. What do I do with a stupid silver? You could have gave me gold. I guess free games in times lots of people don't even have jobs is not enough. Shush exposure. Not a choosy beggar, but a choosy donator. This woman constantly begs and complains on Facebook for a job. She is constantly complaining about how much debt she is in and how no employer will get back to her about a job. We used to go to school together, so I thought I'd help her out. Choosing beggars my friend dealt with today. More info in comments. If I accept your offer. Kid thinks he can buy a game, play it for a while, then get a full refund. Free food for needy families. No, not that food. I got a kick out of this one. My friend is an out-of-work piercer due to the pandemic in the US. Posted with her permission. She's actually used her business to raise money for charity in the past. But this is a charity case she'd never touch, face with tears of joy. $350 discount. Guy gets a fine as a consequence of his own actions. Asks friend to split the fine because they happen to be there too. Also, not my messages. Guy on Instagram contacts me, a bleep male, asking to buy my username. A buddy of mine buys and sells cars, and this is a daily occurrence. This guy went on a adding random people spree, and then has the nerve to post this. Looking into the comments, I can confirm most of them don't even know who he is. Sorry, the item was a portable chair and table. Best way to deal with beggars. Never thought I would find a choosing beggar in Duolingo. Senior daughter is adopted by an internet stranger and the gift they sent isn't enough. Yes, Karen. You're being an bleep. You should have donated more. On my Facebook marketplace, this lady was asking for all of this stuff for free and free delivery. She had at least 3 more lists of stuff. Imagine being the person who actually types this and hits send. I can't even begin to imagine what goes through someone's head when they say stuff like this. And the fact they have the audacity to call the person beautiful. Not mine. My heart breaks for everyone on Etsy selling face masks. Good Lord. This pandemic has brought out choosing beggars en masse. While shopping for face masks, I've seen 2 types of choosing beggars. First, the generally entitled. It's a pandemic. You are charging too much. It's a pandemic. Your stuff should be free. It's a pandemic. Children's masks should be free. It's a pandemic. I see that you are donating masks to ABC group. Why aren't you giving free masks to XYZ group? Then we have the aesthetically entitled. I saw online a realistic mask of the Winter Soldier. My 5-year-old wants one. Disney just released a line of Marvel and Star Wars masks. You can recreate that. Right. Your site says that you can make blue, peach and yellow masks. Why don't you have pink? I clicked on the tab for any available fabric pattern. I got a mask with puppies. I don't like puppies. How are you going to compensate me? Edit. Thanks to all the people who noticed it was my cake day when I posted. To all the people who have only had good experiences. I'm glad to hear from you. Almost restores my faith in humanity. Clarification. I am not a seller. These are not my personal experiences. These were comments I saw while shopping. Huge shout out to the people who have shared patterns and tutorials. No doubt an absolute gem of a human being. Welcome to Let Go, I guess. Woozy face with tears of joy. All non-COVID related products should be free. So sad. Sad face. This is an already very popular dessert cafe. Who in their right mind is asking for food with exposure as payment? Teaching my daughter to be on the lookout. This choosing beggar mouse always expects you to do one more little thing for him. Tom Hanks donated plasma and it's hardly heroic. The Funko Pop market is ruthless. Free. Not for me, you don't have what I want. Just 2 songs. Trying to sell a very expensive saltwater aquarium so my shop can stay open. Been getting a lot of stupid replies to my listings. Exposure with no follows equals free art. If one company is giving out free coffee, how dare another company not do the same thing? How you gonna complain about getting free money in GTA 5? Scumbag dog owner. Years ago, a friend of mine got a puppy because his new girlfriend loves dogs. It was a golden retriever, so a generally easy to train dog that's food motivated and a pretty fast learner. He asks if I can watch his dog for a weekend, give or take a few days, because he didn't know how long he'd be out of town visiting his ailing grandmother. I agree and ask about the type of food the dog eats. Table scraps. I ask what kind of bleep dog food bleep. Table scraps. He eats what I eat. This bleep doesn't even have dog food. He says he feeds the dog canned army surplus chili routinely because he gets 10 cans for $1. I tell him he's going to kill this dog and try to explain about the dog's diet. He agrees to get the dog on regular dog food, but he also sounds like he's not going to actually do it. The day comes and he drops off this huge bleep puppy that bleep like crazy and makes this weird hawk noise when it breathes too hard. I basically rip my friend a new bleep for being a bleep dog owner. He leaves and says, I'm going to get him on good dog food. We're going to walk him when bleep girlfriend bleep moves in. And blah 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 blah, trailed off into bleep about being busy with work and depression and other excuses. He later texts me and says the dog isn't house trained. Yeah. Thanks for the heads up, cunt face. I figured that out when the dog took a massive chili stank bleep in my bedroom and bleep all over the kitchen. He then asks me to get the dog some toys. Start the dog on a pretty expensive dog food benefit. IRC. Because he did some research and it's the best. Bleep. He saw a commercial on TV and tried to house train him before he comes home. I think this bleep planned it to have me train his dog and pay for toys because he's lazy as bleep and cheap. Well, while he's gone, friend's new girlfriend dumps his bleep because he was stupid enough to post check-ins on Facebook and make comments about having a great time reconnecting with an ex in his hometown. Might not have been too bad until he said something like, a couple more beers and I think she'll be ripe for the picking. Some dumb bleep about planning to bang her. And now I'm even more bleep because I was told he was going to visit his grandmother and help her pack and move into some assisted living place. He's checking in at places 2,000 miles from where his grandmother lives. Sue. The girlfriend dumps him, and now that the girlfriend isn't around, he has no need for a dog. The weekend, give or take a few days, ended up being 2 years. After 2 weeks, I called. No answer. Texted asking when he was coming home. No answer. He basically ignored me for 2 years. 2 years later, the phone rings. It's him acting like we're best friends. It's like we've been buddy and nothing ever happened. It's an awkward conversation, like he's talking just to talk and doesn't really give a bleep about catching up. I figure he's going to ask for the dog. Nope. We end the conversation and that's it. He calls a few more times over the next couple weeks and I think maybe he's really trying to reconnect. By now, I really don't even want to though. On the 4th or 5th call, it happens. He tells me he wants his dog back. Then come a few waves of choosing beggar level bleep. I get bleep about the grandma lies, ignoring me, ditching the dog, and just being an all-around shithead. I flat out tell him to drop dead. He gives me this sob story about how I kept the dog from him for 2 years and now all he wants is a chance to cuddle some fluffy love. I tell him to drop dead again. He tells me his girlfriend loves dogs and I'm denying her a chance to have fluffy love. I assume fluffy love is what his dim-witted girlfriend called pet ownership. I tell him to drop dead. Finally, he pulled out the old "It's really for the baby. No kid should grow up without a pet. Would you really deny a child the chance to grow up with a loving dog?" Quote. I tell him I don't give a bleep and he's not getting the dog so he can destroy him with canned chili and neglect. He demands $1,500, saying that's what he paid. I know he paid $800. I tell him he owes me $3,600 for a hip operation for the dog as well as general vet visits, shots, toys, food, collars, leashes, grooming, etc. He tells me to bleep off and says he's going to sue. Fine. Go ahead. Not surprisingly, I never hear anything else about it. I'm sure this fits in I am a total piece of shit as well as trashy. But I thought it would fit here too since he expected all this free work training, paying for toys, paying for food, exercising to get the dog back in shape, etc. I'm proud to report that friend hasn't made contact in several years. Buddy is almost 10 years old, in good shape, and super happy. Edit. Corrected age. Time flies.